Titan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
It's great having you here. So, guys, this is Titan from Parkland. Really privileged to have him here, and we're gonna get right into it. So,
Cool,
I know yours is a cool story. So maybe give us a little bit of background. How did you end up in Mauritius? I know you're from America. Maybe just sort of give us your synopsis of how that happened.
Yeah, I was telling a client today that I'm the American stray dog mutt that comes from all the different cultures, but somehow came from America. So first off, thank you guys so much for having me, Michael and Zane and the whole team at SMB. Really appreciate it. We've collaborated quite a bit together since I started a couple years ago, and with your move across to Osiris and with the opening up of SMB, it's been a great collaboration for all of us, for sure. And as I said to you before, if you interviewed everyone but me, I would have been feeling like I was missing out. So I'm happy we made it happen in this busy time of year for all of us. So yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciate it. So how I ended up in Mauritius, it's a full circle story, but the short version of it is I am married to a Mauritian. Thankfully, my beautiful wife is Mauritian, which opens up a lot of advantages in Mauritius. Not that you necessarily need it as a foreigner, we'll get into that, but yeah, her family's here, so it was a very natural,
smooth transition,
a very easy, no-brainer move for us. We love it here, we love being here. We started off our marriage in the States, and obviously that's where I was born and raised, in Florida, and I come from, I think I like the way that Parkland put it in my bio, I hail from a real estate family, which sounds quite maybe overly sophisticated, but I thought it was a cool way to say it. So, but as that, both my parents were in real estate, so I was telling a client today in a car, I just grew up in the industry, really.
How do they say 25 years old with 20 years experience or
something like that, hopefully. You said it, not me. But yeah, I just grew up, in the back of the car, going to showings with my mom and dad.
Oh, that's awesome.
And you could say, I guess it was kind of infused into me from a very young age, real estate. And I love property, and I love the client side of it, of helping people find a home. So as we say in Park Lane, property with a personal touch. I know we'll get into that too, of what Park Lane is specifically and how we stand out, but that's it, and that really resonated with me. A part of that story is I've known the CEO of Philip De Beer, who I think you're going to have on, and I've known Sam, the other agent that you've had on, and Philip's son and I grew up together, Amory. And Park Lane was also a very natural transition from me. The company that I come from back home, Michael Saunders and Company, it's a very successful real estate company in the southwest of Florida. Them and Park Lane are a part of the same leading RE network, which is what all the top agencies around the world are a part of. So it was like going basically from one home to another, awesome. Not just in terms of home, but also in terms of real estate agency. And growing up with Amory and Philip, I work with my family, I always say. They're not just friends and colleagues, they're my family since I was nearly 12 years old, family friends. So yeah, it's a great environment. We're happy here. We've been here now for 2 years. I've been with the company for just about that 2 years. Very, very different markets, which I'm sure we'll also get into. Very different in every sense of the word. Similar atmosphere and climate, and not just in terms of weather, but also lifestyle. The beach lifestyle, the ocean, the sea, all the activities, the golf, very similar to Florida. So it was also a very natural transition in that regard, feeling like
you're used to the heat. Yeah.
Used to the heat. So yeah, I became, if I can say, a local here very quickly. I've been in and out of the country since 2017. So to be here, and my wife and I planning our roots here now full time, has been nothing but great. So awesome. There we go. There's the short version.
Thanks for sharing that. Obviously, I know the team at Park Lane very well, and you guys are a close-knit bunch.
Yeah.
And maybe get into a little bit of that, sort of what it's like working there, and also what your approach is in dealing with clients, sort of how you guys go about it, without giving away trade secrets.
Yeah, for sure. There's not many trade secrets in Mauritius, as you find out very
It's a
quickly in
small
this
island.
market. There's not much exclusivity, and everything's open, which is good. I mean, it's a
Very transparent.
exactly, which is good for the buyer and the seller at the end of the day to be. I would say, if there's any trade secret, that's it. Is that we are very transparent, not just at a client agent level, but also internally, at a colleague level. It as you said, you hit the nail on the head. It's a tight knit, family run boutique style agency. Last year, I haven't seen the stats for this year yet, but last year and the previous years before, we've been one of the top 5 agencies in Mauritius, which is incredible because there's about 300,000 agencies. So yeah, I think a huge testament to us being such a successful agency, and at the same time, amongst those, I think top 10 agencies, we're the only Mauritian independently owned. You'll hear that a lot with Phil and Sam if you haven't already, but that says something, that we're a family-owned boutique agency that is Mauritian-owned. And that we are competing with the big guys that have outside investing and have, a reputation and a huge brand, which has been very exciting for me as a young agent new to the Mauritian market. It's been a great challenge to see how Phil and Sam and all the guys have become a real household name in Mauritius against such big competitors. And I mean, again, you could say it, over and over again, but from everyone to my assistant Jennifer, who's absolutely fantastic, and I couldn't get through, a day without her support and help behind the desk, to our secretary, to my director Brian, to the other agents that I work with within the company. It's we don't just work together. Many times we have lived together. I've lived in Philip De Beer's home with Amory, his son. My Sam has always been a close mentor in and outside of work, and I've grown up with these guys, and a lot of us in the agency have just grown up together and have spent the last, for me, I'm young, I'm 24, but a lot of these guys, Bernard, our manager in the center, I mean, he's been with the company for over 16 years.
I think Sam was also saying something crazy.
Yeah, Sam as well has been with the company for over 16 years. So
it's a good sign.
It's a very good sign, because it's notorious for real estate as a whole globally. Agents love to...
There's a high turnover rate.
It's a very high turnover rate. Agents love to bounce from office to office. It happens with the nature of a commission-based role, but... our attention, especially from an agent point of view, has been very, very high, and that speaks volumes. And clients feel that. Clients, can walk into an office and feel whether it's a relaxed environment where things are flowing and things are happy days, or if there's tension. And we really try, to promote such, a good environment that speaks how we do business and whatnot. And clients feel that. And I think that's why we've been able to do somewhat successfully well.
And so jumping into a little bit, maybe these clients that you mentioned. So what is I know you across the board, you're involved in a lot of things, but on an investment side specifically, I know you're carving out a bit of a niche for yourself maybe.
Yeah.
Sort of in two price brackets. Let's say under $750,000, and let's say sort of north of 1.5.
Under $150,000?
750.
750. Okay, I was going to say under 150. I'm still looking for that one.
If you let me know, I'm also in the market.
Yeah, for sure.
But so under 750, if you could, there's something that you think is interesting from an investment point of view.
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe something, let's say, over $1.5 million on the higher end.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to touch on what you said about finding kind of a speciality and niche in the investors market, it's something I did kind of take too quickly. Obviously, being a foreigner, it's easier for me to deal with foreign clients. A good mix of those foreign clients are an investor, or what I call an investor hybrid, which is your classic South African or even American who wants to spend 2-3 months a year here, wants the residency, permanent residency, and wants a good investment that isn't just going to pay for itself and do well, but is also going to appreciate well. So I'm sure another thing we'll touch on again is that there's no capital gains tax in Mauritius for maybe the people viewing who don't know, which is makes Mauritius very competitive from an investment.
It's no dividends tax, no capital gains tax, no estate duty. So
Exactly.
those are the big wealth taxes.
In America, Americans love it because you get hit with property tax, you get hit with capital gains tax when you sell. So it's a very investor-friendly market, as both you and I know. So I took a liking to that very quickly and just naturally because that's where a lot of the foreigners look to buy. So with that being said, under the $750,000 mark, which has been very popular because obviously on the finance side, that's what a lot of the clients have to bring to the table in cash or equivalent to. So smart cities have been a touchy subject over the past year or so with the new government because, again, as your viewers may or may not know, as you both and I know very well, within a smart city, it's very difficult, nearly impossible to get financing. I would say nearly impossible now.
So new builds under 750.
Exactly.
But resales, we are still getting financing.
Exactly.
That's not a problem.
So the new builds, which at the end of the day,
a lot of the stock,
investor is more interested in that new build because on average, when a project launches, 24 months later it's delivered, that client is receiving, on average a 20 to sometimes even 35% gain.
Over the build period,
Increase, a gain on the property value just, within a 2-year period. And that's because they're buying it off plan. I say in quotations, they're taking on the risk, but inside the VEFA scheme, which comes from France, it's practically zero risk, which thankfully the foreign market has really adapted to and seen that for themselves. There's been plenty of projects that have proof of concept where, you buy, you get this 35% increase. You can sell when it's delivered and take your money and go, or you can hold on to it for a little bit longer, let it increase, hopefully refinance it into the next property even, which is what you guys have introduced to the market, which has been huge because obviously in America that's a no-brainer. We refinance
and it's
all
funny,
the time.
I mean, it's a big play in most real estate markets, but something that Mauritian buyers, both local and foreigners, don't really seem to latch onto that much. So, I mean, if you, like you said it yourself, you own a property outright in your name in Mauritius, you can refinance 60% of that.
Yeah.
And that's a big play. Or
it's a huge play.
Easy way to make your capital work a bit harder.
Yeah, all of a sudden enables you to have 2 investment properties or multiple rather than 1. So yeah, it's a concept that I think will catch on more and more, hopefully with your guys' help, I'm sure, with a collaborative team effort. But the proof of concept in Europe, it's big. In America, it's big. It's a proven method that works, especially for the investor. And I think we'll see it more and more, particularly with this property under 750,000, especially for outside of the smart city when you can finance it in a ground plus 2 scheme.
Exactly. So because the G+2 still qualify, are there any sort of in that price range that stand out for you maybe at the moment?
We've got 2 developers that often compete with each other, primarily in the north, who do really well. You've obviously got Mauritius right down the road. We can probably see it from the window here. They've got a project coming up called The Signature.
Yeah.
So that is a great investment candidate for the investor.
We had Ravish on earlier. He'll be very happy to hear you say
fantastic.
that.
Yeah, he'll be happy to hear me say that. We've done a few there together, so it's been great. And that's been perfect, right under the 750,000 mark. It was even more so better before the new government and legislation. Obviously, we fall into a different category with it being in smart city now, so a little bit more tricky on the finance side, off plan, but still a great, attractive price point where a lot of people can buy cash and don't have to worry about financing right now.
And we'll see. I suspect we'll see. I mean, we know a lot of the people that have bought there. We expect a lot of refinancing to come out of that development as well. So that'll be delivered in the next 18 months to 2 years, or maybe a bit more. And when it gets delivered, then the refinancing will definitely flow.
100%.
And I think the first guys bought there $210,000.
Yeah.
So the appreciation
For a one bed.
for one bed, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and
the
that's
appreciation is going to be crazy.
That's the beautiful thing about that product is you have it across the board. So you've got penthouses, selling right under that $750,000 mark, and to have a penthouse, even the one we sold was partial sea view. That's just a bit unheard of these days.
That is, especially in the north. Yeah.
Very competitive product. That would be my top one for under 750,000. Two Futures, also a very good product. I know you had Gareth on there too. So for me right now, with specifically in Grand Bay, let's say from Cap Malo to Trobiche, where Montchoisy is a great product. Two Futures is a great product.
I think Two Futures have got a few G+2s at the moment.
Exactly. So they've got Key Resort, which has been a great one. Also very attractive because it's outside of a smart city. So you can get your financing. They've got their new one that they've launched, Two Beach Collective.
I've heard of quite a bit of that one as well.
Great short-term product for investors looking to put it on short-term, right across from the beach. So
that's in Perry Bay, right?
Exactly.
And nice. You got all the restaurants and everything around.
Exactly. So more dynamic product, maybe attracts the younger investor a little bit more. If you're happy to go a bit further northeast, which a lot of people are nowadays, obviously Azuri is a phenomenal product. Again, within a smart city, but plenty of products that are under that 750,000 mark.
A bit of a more hybrid lifestyle, like you mentioned. The guys that are they want some growth, but they're looking to spend some time here themselves.
Exactly.
So,
a lot of South Africans tend to, drift towards there or are attracted to that because I always say there's one way in and one way out. So you feel secure there. You go there at 3 o'clock. You see the kids on the bikes. It's a nice family-friendly place. So the South African feels comfortable when they, when they rock up there.
But I do want to point out, I think Azuri's, what they did get right well, and we had Elodie from the sales team, obviously, from Azuri on here as well. I think what she did point out was it is one of the most successful developments where you have local buy-in,
for sure,
as well as obviously the Leges family being behind the development encourages that too, I think, which makes it successful for the expatriates looking to not only move to Mauritius but also actually integrate into the fibers of society.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's been a huge successful project for Mauritians, especially their new project Le Melian, G+2.
Your French is getting good, eh?
Trying. You're putting me on the spot. With the wife being Mauritian, you gotta know a few words. But yeah, that's actually probably been the most competitive product under $750,000. 3-bedroom you can get for 18 million rupees. That gets you right over the permanent residency threshold. You're getting a beautiful brand new apartment that's tied to Azuri with the private beach, the lifestyle. It's got a world-renowned par 3 9-hole golf course. So,
and very importantly, I see Bayside Butchery has got a fridge there with meat now.
Okay.
They stock it almost like on a vending machine.
Shows you the South African population that's living there. So
the red meat's doing okay.
That's a good move on Bayside. That's my butcher, so I'm happy for them. But and then if you go out further east, which another product we love, I was just there today, is Anahita, which is just in a class of its own in every regard. They do have some products under 750,000.
I did not know that. That's crazy.
They've launched a new smart city called Beauchamp, which is absolutely stunning. I think it's really going to take off. It already has. It's been such a success for them. We
should see some good capital appreciation.
Huge appreciation. I mean, you've got Ilo Surf right there, which for the viewers who don't know, it's an island. Anahita is a beautiful, world-renowned 18-hole golf course. You take a 2-minute boat ferry to this beautiful private island, and they've got a 3-par golf course right there as well, par 3. So I was telling a client today that I was visiting with there, you've got everything you would want or need within an estate. If you want the peace and quiet, you can easily find it there. If you want the more dynamic, let's go play paddle, let's go play golf, let's go to the beach and have a dive, let's go for a kite surf, you have everything you need there too. If you want the small, simple, quiet cafe, you've got it there. If you want a nice, more buzzing atmosphere restaurant, you also have it there. Anahita is, I think, one that particularly the North market tends to sleep on. because it's a little bit further out east.
It's a bit of a drive, yeah.
But when you find out how close it is to the airport, that opens up a lot of doors as well. So that's been a very good product as well. And I would say that's also when you want to get over the $1 million mark, you can unlock a lot of doors there at Anahita that you can't unlock anywhere else on the island. That's really fantastic.
Well, thanks for sharing those insights.
Yeah, good questions.
Very interesting. Maybe if we can flip the script a bit.
For sure.
I'm sure some of your viewers, if you should use the content, would be interested in hearing
For sure.
about the mortgage or the home loan industry in Mauritius.
100%. You know, I call you on a regular basis looking for your advice for when I'm in situations with financing, not just South African clients, but one thing that we've definitely found a bit of a obstacle, if you will, with the South African client is this $750,000 mark, particularly off-plan in a smart city.
Maybe, sorry to interrupt, maybe we break that down quickly, exactly what that rule is, because I think it's going to keep coming up. So how it works is that previously you could finance from $0. So you buy $1 million property, you can finance typically 70% as a foreigner coming in. So you can put down $300,000 of your own money, get 700 from a local bank, and you're off to the races, no problem. That can be a resale.
For South African.
That can be a resale. That can be off plan. That can be. It doesn't really matter who you're buying from. The thing is, the government is trying to encourage a bit more lump sum investment. So there's a few plays in that. One of that is strengthening the rupee, capital inflow, direct capital inflow, not just creation of mortgages in country. There's a few pieces at play there. The long and the short is that the new rule that was brought in is that all developments off plan, excluding your G+2s. So all off plan developments, excluding G+2s, you now need to put down the first $750,000 cash. So going back to the example of $1 million property, you need to put down $750,000, and then you can only finance, say, $250,000 in that example. The property was $1.5 million.
Complete switch.
It's a 50-50 that you own money versus bank's money. If you're under 750, no financing that you can qualify for. So that's been a little bit of I think that's caused a little bit of a slowdown in the South African market. And obviously, one of the reasons why the South Africans were so prevalent in that market was exchange control regulations.
Well, that was my question for you, is how have you bridged the gap where the average South African can only bring a certain amount of rand out every year? I think if they want to do it undeclared, it's $1 million or $2 million per person.
Yeah.
And then if they want to declare it, I think it's up to 10 million. But still, 10 million rand can get you somewhere in Mauritius, but maybe not to the top
quite where
everyone wants to be. So, yeah.
So what you can do is just remember that the South African exchange control regulation allows for R1 million per year per individual with it's called a travel allowance. So there's no application that can be made for that. That can just be taken out just per calendar year. So in a family of 4 where there's adult children present, that's 3 or 4 million rand depending on the age of the kids per year, per calendar year. I mean, that converts to about $200,000. And then you can apply for an additional 10 million rand, which is $500,000 per individual per year, with relative ease. It's not that complicated of a process. Most accountants in South Africa will assist you with that process for, say, $100, $200. They'll assist you with that process. So on the SA market, that's quite popular. We're seeing younger and younger buyers from Europe as well. Guys moving here used to be older retirees, and we're seeing more and more young families, guys in their mid-30s, early 40s maybe, moving over here with young families. I mean, you're seeing it as well.
You see it a lot,
So I think that market would have still, they're not quite there with their capital. They don't quite want to put down $1 million or $2 million for a nice property in Mauritius. They would just want to use leverage a little bit as well. And I think that's biting them a little bit. And sort of the solution to that is then to focus on the G+2s. I think we've seen that the sales tick up in those developments because of the regulation for sure. And the other option is to buy from the developer, get the finance, buy it in cash if you have the means, knowing that you only have to pay.
It'd be nice if everyone bought cash. Well, not for you. Can't say that on this.
So absolutely. So I mean, it does take a little bit longer when buying with a home loan, but when you're buying from a developer, you've got time to pay it off. It's not like you're paying the full amount in the beginning of year one. It's going to take 18 months or 2 years or 2.5 years to complete the build, depending on complexity of the project.
Yeah, for sure.
So over that period, you can pay off a bit. So You can plan your exchange control. You can plan the sale of your house in Europe or whatever you're busy with to sort of free up that capital to buy. And then if you want to refinance once you own the property, you can do that as well. So once it's already been built, you've been handed your keys, you're making coffee in your own kitchen, then speak to us again, and we help you to pull some equity out of that. You can put that either into an investment portfolio, it can be used to do renovations on the property to increase the capital value of the property. You can buy an additional unit. So then we often, like we've done before, is we bounce the client back to you.
Yeah.
The client reinvests that capital as well. So, I mean, there's a few options that can be done. It's just about sitting down. It's important, and you guys do it very well, is sitting with the client and understanding exactly where he's coming from, what his needs are.
Exactly.
And sort of what tools he has at his disposal to...
Tailor-made approach.
Exactly. You're not going to find a one-size-fits-all, but there are 4 or 5 pretty standard scenarios.
For sure.
Which the client would typically fit into one of those.
For sure. Yeah, well, that's very helpful. I mean, as you know, I always send clients your way who have a finance need and whatnot, because, the beautiful thing of Mauritius is there is a lot of consistency on the property market that we've seen historically. But one of the challenging things is that there have been a few changes recently, particularly with finance, which was, as you mentioned, one of the very attractive reasons why an investor or someone even looking to pack up and move and relocate to Mauritius, the fact that they could get financing relatively easily was a very attractive point. But now I think that's why it was such a good time for you guys to enter the market, and it's been so helpful, which is why you've been so successful, is because it has gone a little bit more complex. Maybe not necessarily complex, but there's a few more bridges that you have to gap.
There's a little bit more information that needs to be...
So to have expert, tailor-made advice, not just when searching for a home, but also you could even say searching for a loan. Because at the end of the day, that's what you have to do nowadays, is search for a loan. Touch on that, Michael, just especially for our viewer. What is the average timeline? Because, in property, everything is at a rushing start, then comes to a very slow, median, middle, and then comes to a rushing finish. So average timeline, we introduce you to a client, they've signed a sale agreement, they're ready to move on to promise of sale where it's subject to loan approval. We're now waiting for the loan approval window. Okay, let's say for example of a foreigner, we're waiting for EDB approval. Let's say they're going to get EDB approval, their LOA, for those who don't know, letter of approval from the Economic Development Board, which is what you need as a foreigner to buy, the approval you need. So we're waiting for that, let's say, for sake of discussion, 90 days for the LOA to come into, and we have 90 days to work with to get loan approval as well. Is that a realistic timeline? Or
it's definitely doable. So the client documentation collection process, which we do at the very beginning, speeds it up a little bit, because we collect all the documents, apply for indicative offers from the banks. We get 5 or 6 different offers, 7 different offers sometimes. We work with 7 banks. Not all of them are always interested in every deal. We present those offers to the client selects an offer, then we proceed with the chosen bank. From there, there's 2 moving parts, on the bank side and one on the government side. You've already mentioned the Economic Development Board, better known as the EDB. They need to approve the foreigner. This takes anywhere between 90 days, a little bit more sometimes, but the turnaround times have been coming down again the last while, so we're sitting probably close to the 90-day mark again. Then for the 2 moving parts on the bank is the valuator, needs to go out and value the property. That process can happen in parallel, and then the credit approval. So the compliance department, or sort of the onboarding department, will take a look at all the KYC documents, make sure they're happy to deal with this client, that they're in good standing, etc. Then it goes to an independent credit review team. They'll compile the documents and then make a case towards the credit committee. The credit committee sits periodically. Different banks have different fixed meeting schedules. The credit team will then present the credit pack to the credit committee. Credit committee will then review, and then once that approval has gotten, it works its way a little bit manually through the processes, and that takes another week or 2, say, and then you get to your final disbursement steps. So on the very quickest turnaround times we've seen on those is 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay, very good.
That is exceptional though, very straightforward standard cases. Most of the high net worths, there's a bit of a structure to explain. Some of the funds may be coming from a trust, or there's company, there's dividends.
Sure.
It's not just a big paycheck. You know what I mean? There's a bit more complexity. Then you're looking at, say, the 8 to 12 week mark.
Okay.
Most of the clients, I think, would fall inside of that bracket.
Yeah, but it's not like, it sounds like on most cases, it's not like the client's going to be getting LOA approval and still waiting for loan approval.
We're usually waiting for the economic development.
Waiting for that
I mean,
LOA.
that is
A universal
well, it's a government
waiting
department
period.
at the end of
Yeah,
the day.
for sure. Maybe one day we'll get to fully online and everything will happen.
The transition is turning in that way, so we are hopeful.
Yeah, it's looking good. It's been good. So
we went to a very interesting FSC evening as well the other day. We attended that was where they spoke a bit about the central depository for KYC, which it seems a step in the right direction as well for digitization and smoothness of the process.
Yeah, no, it seems to be heading in the right direction. So good time for both of us to keep servicing the client and stay in the industry.
Keep going at it.
I'm going to play the real estate agent stereotype and say I've got to run, but thank you guys for having me. Really, really appreciate it. It's been great to chat, and I think this is the first of many.
Absolutely. Looking forward to having you on here again, and thank you so much for your time, Tyson.
Thanks, guys.